Today we're going to cover Chapter 4, Lesson 2, which is about relations. And there are a couple ways that we can represent relations. The first one here is by an ordered pair. An ordered pair is the x and y coordinates of a point on a graph. So if we were to name the ordered pair for problem number 1, which is for the letter A, what we would do is we would look at the graph for the letter A, and we would count on the x-axis and on the y-axis the address for the letter A. And so if we go back 1, 2, 3 units, you can see that this letter A is on this vertical line, and this vertical line is between -1 and -2. So the x address for letter A is at -1.5, and the y coordinate is along this line here, and you can see it's at +0.5. So the ordered pair that graphs point A is -1.5, 0.5. And you can see, now let's move on to problem number 2, and we're looking for letter B. And letter B is on this vertical line and on this horizontal line. Well, this vertical line is on x equals 1. So that is the x component is 1. And the y component is at about 1.5. So the y component is 1.5. It's that simple. Number 3, the x component for letter C. So we want to put in an x component and we want to put in a y component. Letter C, it's on the x-axis, it's at -1, and on the y-axis, it is at -1.5, like that. For letter D, we're here, and it looks to be at +2 on the x-axis, and it looks to be at +1 on the y-axis. So it's +2 on the x-axis, it's +1 on the y-axis, so the ordered pair is 2, 1. In problems 5, 6, 7, and 8, what they want us to do is they want us to plot the points onto the graph. So first thing we have to do is we have to label it, and because in our questions they're using halves, right? You know, these 3 points have halves. So what we want to do is we want to include halves in our scale. So if we put 1 here and 2 here, -1, -2, +1, +2, -1, and -2, then it'll be easy to graph for us. So we want to plot, let's let this one be E, F, G, and H. So if we want to plot number 5, which is letter E, we'll go +1 on the x-axis, and we'll go to +1/2 on the y-axis. So +1 1/2 is like right in here, right there, and we're going to label that, that was E. And then we're going to plot 1, -2. And if we go over to +1 and then down to -2, we should be putting a point right here for letter F. And we're going to plot letter G. Then we're going to plot negative 1/2, positive 2. Well, negative 1/2, positive 2 is up here, right there. And that is G. And then to plot H, we want to plot positive 2, negative 1/2, which is right in here. H. And that's how you plot points on the graph. Number 9, express the relation as a table and a graph, then state the domain and range. Okay, so express the relation as a table and a graph, then state the domain and range. So the table portion, what we want to do is we want to understand, again, that each of these x, y coordinates are an ordered pair that that go into the table and they go into the graph. The x coordinate in the first one and the y coordinate is negative 4. So that's the 3, that's the negative 4. And if I could draw, it'd be dangerous. Here would be the 4. And then the x is 2 and the y is 0. Go there and there. The negative 4 and the negative 1 go there and there. And the 0 and the negative 3 go there and there. To plot these points on the graph, we want to plot x is 3 and y is negative 4. So this would be 3, negative 4. And then 2, 0 would be here. And then negative 4, negative 1 would be here. Okay, and then 0, negative 3 would be here. Okay, that's how you plot the 4 points from the table. And then to state the domain and range, the domain is the set of x values, and the x values from the table are the negative 4, the 0, 2, and 3. You should put them in numeric order. And then the range is the y values, is the set of numbers negative 4, negative 3. Let me rewrite that. Negative 3, negative 1, and 0. Like that. And that would be the answer to problem number 9. Problem number 10. It's about a television. It says Alton pays $48 per month for satellite television service. It says to make a table of ordered pairs in which the x-coordinate represents the number of months and the y-coordinate represents the total cost for 1, 2, 3, 4 months. So, okay, so the equation is the cost is equal to $48 per month. They want us to put in 1, 2, 3, and 4 months. Well, on the first month, you're going to pay 48 times 1, which is $48. On the second month, you're going to pay 48 times 2 is $96. On the third month, you're going to pay 3 times 48, which is $144. And on the fourth month, you're going to pay 4 times 48, which is $192. Okay, so that is the graph. That is your equation. Well, that's not the graph, that's the table. And now to fill in the graph, we want to use 1, 2, 3, 4 months, we want to go up 50, 100, 150, and then $200. And so on the first month, you're paying $48, which is right about there. On the second month, you're paying $96, which is right in there. On the third day, you're paying $144, which is right in there. And on the fourth month, you're paying $192, which is right about in there. And so this would be the answer to problem number 10, where we write the equation, we fill in the table, and we graph it. Okay, let's go to the next page. So go over here on page 1. There you go. Okay, done. Page 2. Start at 3. Whoops. Page 3. Here it is, page 2. So, page 2, again, what we want to do is we are solving chapter 4, lesson 2, relations. And we want to answer the first question. First question is about money. It says the Happy Place charges $30 per hour for parties. So that means we're going to pay charge is $30 an hour, in which the x-coordinate represents the number of hours. That's right, because what we're doing is we're doing y equals mx plus b. The hours are in the x position, and the cost is in the y position, and the 30 is in the slopes position. The make a table of ordered pairs in which the x-coordinate. Okay, so we want 2, 3, 4, and 5 hours. Okay, so we want 2, 3, 4, and 5 hours. And what another thing that we want is we want to take the 2 and multiply it by 30. So the y value is 2 times 30, or $60. And then it's 3 times 30. For 3 hours of rental, you'll pay $90. For 4 hours, you'll pay $120. And for 5 hours, you'll pay $150. Okay? Number 2, it says to graph the ordered pairs from exercise 1 and state the domain and range. Okay, well, the domain and range are quick and easy, so let's do that first. The domain is the x values, and the x values, they actually gave them to us, are the 2, 3, 4, and 5 from the table. The range are the y values that we calculated, and we said that the range is the 60, the 90, the 120, and the 150. So those are the range values, and they're right from the table in problem number 1. The next thing it asks us to do is to graph it. Well, if we're going to use 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, then let's use 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And the next thing is that the numbers are in increments of 30. So I'm going to go 30, 60, 90, 120, 150, 180. But we want to add 1 hour. But, well, we're starting at 2 hours. So at 2 hours, we're paying $60. At 3 hours, 90. At 4 hours, 120. And at 5 hours, we're at 150. So this would be our graph for problem number 2. Problem number 3. And let me erase that little mistake there. Problem number 3. What we want to do is we want to look at the ABC car rental company. charges a flat rate of $58 per day. Make it so our cost is 58 per day. Says to make a table of ordered pairs in which the x-coordinate represents the number of days and the y-coordinate represents the total cost for 1, 3, 5, and 7 days. So all you have to do is multiply 58 times 1, multiply 58 times 3, 58 times 5, and 58, that's an 8, times 7. So the first number is 58. The second number, 3 times 58, is 174. Third number is 250, 290. And the third number is 350, 410, I think. And you can verify these with your calculator. And you probably should, because I'm not sure about that 290 and the 410, because I don't have my calculator in front of me. All right, number 4, produce a company that sells, produce. A company that sells produce fills 350 boxes of squash per day. So, company produces 350 boxes of squash per day. Make a table of ordered pairs in which X represents the number of days. Okay, so you get the number of boxes you have is equal to 350 times the number of days that you've been in service. Okay, so because if you're going to produce 350 boxes a day, then all you really need to know is what is 350 times the number of days. So this is the way you set up the equation here. It says to, let's find out how many they make in 1, 2, 3, and 4 days. So we want 1, 2, 3, and 4 days. 1 times 350 is 350. 2 times 350 is 700. 3 times 350 is 1,050, and 4 times 350 is 1,400 boxes. And that's it. That's all they want to know, so that's all you have to do. Okay, number 5. It says graph the ordered pairs from exercise 4. Of course, we thought we were done, but no, they want us to keep working on it. Okay, so we're going to graph 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, and 4. And we're going to go in increments of, let's say, 200. So we're going to go 200, 400, 600, 800, 1,000, 1,200, 1,400, 1,600, and that's it. Then we run out of numbers. So on the first day we produced 350 boxes. So that would be here. On the second day we produced 700 boxes, so that would be about there. On the third day we produced 1,050 boxes, would be about there. And on the fourth day we produced 1,400 boxes, would be there. And then our domain, now we have to state the domain and range. The domain is the set of x values, and the x values from the table are 1, 2, 3, and 4. You can also see that we use them here on the x-axis. The range is the set of y values, and those were 350, 700, 1,050, and 1,400. Okay, that's the answer to number 5. And now the answer to number 6. Shaquem's baby brother drinks 4 ounces of formula every 3 hours. make a table of ordered pairs in which the x-coordinate represents the number of hours and the y-coordinate represents the total number of ounces in 3, 6, 9, and 12 hours. So notice here what's happening is they changed the way that this is happening is they're doing 4 ounces every 3 hours. So our change in x is 3. And our change in y should be 4 each time. So the idea is that in 3 hours he drinks 4 ounces. So in another 3 hours he should be doing another 4, which is 8 ounces, and then 12, and then 16 ounces total at the end of the 4 hours, or at the end of the 12 hours. So that is how you make the table, and that's it. That's all you got to do. That's all it asks you for. It doesn't ask you for an equation or anything else. So that's it. That's the end of the worksheet. Have a great day. Oh, I'm going to straighten out the worksheet here so it looks a little bit better when you go to look at it.